There's 12 weeks left of 2025, and today I want to show you exactly how you can go from 25 to 15% body fat in that time. Now, I'm going to assume you know about calorie deficits, getting 10,000 steps, 8 hours of sleep, and strength training. We're not going to talk about that today. Instead, I want to give you the practical and tactical advice that's actually going to make a difference. Stuff you can take away and implement today. Think of these like the cheat codes that are going to strip 10% of body fat off you before New Year's. And I can guarantee that nobody else on YouTube is talking about this stuff. So full screen the video and let's lock in. Number one is to just say no. Big goals like losing 10% of your body fat in the next 12 weeks requires sacrifices. And sacrifices require you to say the word no a lot more than you're used to. In fact, they require you to say the word no to pretty much everything. No to the social occasions, no to the meals out, no to the parties, no to the late nights, and no to the drinks. You see, the word no is one of the most powerful words in the English language because it makes you realize that you are in fact control of your destiny. It gives you freedom, it gives you space, and it gives you time. But above all of that, it gives you focus. And listen, this isn't forever. I'm not saying that you can never have a drink again. I'm not saying that you have to turn down fun for the rest of your life. I'm certainly not saying that you should never see your friends again. This is just for this season of your life. You see, most people say that they want to live a balanced life, but the problem is that they're looking at balance through the wrong lens. They're thinking week to week when they should be thinking season to season. Because when you think week to week, you stay stuck in a loop. You're playing keeping up with the Joneses. You're eating clean and training hard in the week only to undo all that hard work at the weekend. And then when Monday comes around, you feel discouraged, disheartened, and frustrated because you feel like you're starting from scratch again. But when you think season to season, you build momentum. And as a result, your progress compounds. Small wins get stacked up week after week. And before you know it, you're looking back and you're an overnight success. But the only way to get that momentum is to get good at saying the word no. Now, the people pleasers out there, you know who you are. You are going to find this the most difficult, but you're also the ones who are going to benefit from it the most. And if you're struggling to rationalize saying the word no more, if it feels selfish, good, because you need to be selfish now so that you can be selfless later. You see, you're not saying no to them, you're actually saying no for them. Because by saying no now, you're going to create a better version of yourself that they will benefit from later. When you're in your best shape, when you're feeling your best mentally, that's when you are going to lift the people up around you. That's when you are going to inspire them. That's when you are going to become the example and the invitation. So it's not just important to be selfish, it's your duty. So that's number one. Get good at saying the word no. Number two, and just as important, is to figure out who you want to be and what you want to achieve. Listen, you clicked on this video because you're not happy with the current version of yourself. And I get it. I've been there myself. Back in December of 2017, I was at absolute rock bottom. Coming out the back of a nasty breakup, 50 pounds overweight, confidence at rock bottom. I felt completely lost in my life. And I learned the hard way without this video exactly what I needed to do. And I'll be honest with you, it was brutal. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, a lot of lessons that I've learned and now help with applying to my coaching program. But in just 4 months, I was able to lose 50 pounds and more importantly, completely transform my mentality. But I realized something very important that you need to realize today. The current version of you isn't capable of achieving the big goals that you've got. Now, that doesn't mean that you are not capable of achieving those goals, but it does mean that you are going to have to destroy that old version of yourself because he doesn't have the mindset, the belief, the habits, the motivation. So you have to rebuild yourself from the ground up. The challenge is whenever you start talking about mindset stuff on YouTube, people click away from the video. But those are the exact people who stay stuck. They want the latest, greatest, shiny objects and life hacks. They're always looking for that shortcut. But what's really going on is that they're not willing, or I should say they're not ready to do the hard work up here. And if you don't answer these two questions, who you want to be and what you actually want to achieve, you are going to become part of the 97% of people who never really amount to anything. And the last thing that I want is for you to become a statistic. These two questions are fundamental to your success because they dictate your behaviors, your actions, and your decisions. So let me ask you, who do you want to be in 6 months' time? And what do you actually want to achieve? Let me give you an example of just how transformative this can be. Coming out the back of the summer, I was probably in the most comfortable situation I'd been in the last 7 years. That time had been chaotic. Starting my own business, moving to Spain, moving back to the UK, moving back to Spain, breakups, family drama. There was so much going on in my life, as I'm sure there is in yours. The last 6 months, because I did this exercise last winter, have completely changed my life. I thought I'd made it. It's great. Actually, funnily enough, success is a little bit of a double-edged sword. You see, the thing that was keeping me motivated, the thing that was keeping me driven, was the fact that I didn't have to want to do this. I needed to do this. Now, being quite honest with you, I don't need to do this. I still want to, for the most part, but there are some days where I just can't be asked. So I sat myself down at the end of August, knowing that we were about to go into another winter season. And I thought, this rut cannot go undug, because I could feel my mental health slipping again. I am a huge believer that the number one thing every single man needs is a mission, because most men are warriors without a battle to fight. Back in the day, that mission was given to us. Up until a few generations ago, the mission was just to survive. Less than 100 years ago, your grandparents and mine were fighting in world wars. We didn't have the luxury of choice and comfort. So anyway, I sat myself down and I said, what do I actually want to achieve in the next 6 months? What's a big, scary goal that's going to really fire me up, but keep me on point as well? So I've decided, and I'm telling you guys now to hold me accountable, that my goal in the next 6 months, by the end of March 2026, is to have doubled my YouTube subscription base from 50,000 to 100,000. And by the way, this is actually a great segue that I found out the other day, like 150,000 of you guys are watching my videos every single month, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. But only 49,000 of you or so are subscribed. So if you wouldn't mind doing me the smallest of favors, it would mean the absolute world to you. It costs you nothing. It takes you 1 second. I'll leave it up there. But that wasn't actually the point of me telling you this story. The point was, you need a big, scary goal. Something that makes you realize the current version of you isn't going to be able to achieve this, because it does two things for you. Number one, it makes you think about who you need to be to achieve that goal. What are the habits? What are the behaviors? What are the actions? What are the decisions? Who do I want to be hanging around with? All of these thoughts will suddenly flood your subconscious, because that goal, whatever you decide it may be, is going to be something that makes you sit up and think, damn, I need to change. I did this myself and it has already been transformative. I have completely cut out all my vices, quit my bad habits that had creeped back in, and reintroduced my good ones. And I'm on day 24, I think, of my 182-day winter arc. And I already feel like I am back to my best, not just physically, but more important, mentally. This goal that I have set myself has made me realize that I'm going to have to evolve if I want to hit it. And when you do that, it will change how you look at everything and how you make your decisions. It will change what you value and what you don't. It will shift your priorities. It will completely remove all the excuses. It will give you focus and it will give you clarity. And probably most importantly, it will make you realize that what we talked about in point number 1, that big goals require sacrifices. So before you move on, pause the video and have a think about who you want to be and what you actually want to achieve in the next 6 months. Once you've done that, let's move on to point number 3. And that is to pick your guru. Now, I don't need to tell you that there is a lot of conflicting information out there on the interwebs. Even for me, someone who's been training in the gym for nearly 20 years and coaching for the best part of a decade, I still get confused. I still question myself. There's a lot of very convincing people out there. I mean, just look at the Game Changers documentary that came out around the time of the big C word, which I can't say on YouTube. That convinced millions of men to become vegans. Jokes aside, the reality is pretty much any plan, fitness, diet, financial, life can work as long as you stick to it. So what I want you to do is to pick one person that you like the sound of and can resonate with, listen to everything that they have to say, and then most importantly, implement it. And when you implement it, make sure you're implementing it for at least 3 months. If it works, which it probably will if you're consistent, great. If not, well, you've only lost 12 weeks out of the 4,000 that you're going to live. No big deal, right? But if you pick and choose the advice that you take from 5 different people, and those 5 people are all pulling you in different directions, then you're not going to get anywhere. And what's worse is you're not going to know what's working and what's not. You could potentially lose years without making any progress. And I want to be super clear here. This doesn't have to be me, but once you've found your person, the person you like, the person you resonate with the most, for God's sake, invest in them. Because the information, all the stuff they're telling you and all the stuff that I'm telling you today is absolutely worthless without the implementation. And when you invest your time, your money, and your energy into a coach, what you're really getting is the implementation. You're getting accountability, structure, support, and you're getting belief that you can actually do this. And again, I say this from someone who has invested in multiple mentors and coaches. As soon as you put the money down, you completely transform your mindset. You start to change your identity. You start to actually believe, I can do this. And if you don't have that self-belief, you're screwed. And then most importantly, you actually get the result that you want, so you don't have to keep watching videos like this. So if you get to the end of this video and you decide that I'm your guy, I'll leave a link in the description of this video so that you can check out my website and see exactly how my coaching program works, why it works, what you get, and the results that the guys who've worked with me have got. And if I'm not your guy, absolutely fine, no hard feelings. But please, please, do not be that guy who thinks he's ticking every single box by watching all the videos while balancing a bag of M&Ms on his chest. Because in your head, in that guy's head, he's saying, yeah, this is great, I'm going to start tomorrow. He ain't going to start tomorrow. He'll get up, he'll stay in the same habits, and he'll just keep watching these videos. And nothing is going to change. So there you have it. Hint number 3. Point number 4 is to embrace the hard work. Listen, if this was easy, losing 10% of your body fat in just 12 weeks, everybody would do it. But losing weight is hard. It's very hard. But it's supposed to be. There are more millionaires in the US than there are men with 6-packs. In fact, less than 1% of people are under 12% body fat. And the challenge is when something is hard, we naturally look for shortcuts. We as human beings, and I think particularly as men, are wired for progress. We want that progress as fast as we possibly can get it. And it doesn't help when we look at social media and we get so much instant gratification from that. Well, I've tried every shortcut, and I can tell you, hand on heart, that none of them work. There is no way around. The only way is right through the middle. And what's hilarious is that if I could take back all the time that I wasted on the shortcuts, I would be so much further ahead if I'd just done the work. And that's exactly what I want for you guys. I want you to stop looking for the shortcuts, accept the fact that it's just about doing the hard work. Because honestly, I've come to realize that the hard work is the shortcut. Not only is it the shortcut, it's actually what you really want. Because even though the results are great, the 6-pack, the attention, the confidence, the clarity, the mental focus, the improved energy. The best part is knowing that you're the one who did it. Because you can hire the best coach, and I do strongly encourage you to do so. But when it comes to your body, you have to do the work. You have to actually try. You have to actually push yourself. You're the one who's going to have to struggle and suffer through the pain and the hard work. And listen, I still get this myself. As I said, I've been training for nearly 20 years. And I'm not getting any younger. In 3 months' time, I'm going to be 38 years old. I have to push myself harder every workout, every set, and every rep. And I'm getting less out of it every time. The margins of my training are getting thinner and thinner and thinner. So why do I do it? I do it because I know the hard work is the real trophy. Because if you're the type of guy who's watching this video, then the chances are you're a type A, high-performing, high-functioning guy. Maybe you're a little bit ADHD or autistic. You are wired more so than other people for the result, for the progress. But I can promise you, as soon as you get the result, your brain is just going to go, what's next? Everyone else is going to see you as the overnight success. But by the time you've done the hard work and got the result, you just think, yeah, that makes sense. So it's not the result that we crave. It's the progress. And that comes from the work. So embrace the hard work. And when you do that, the results will take care of themselves. And listen, take solace in the fact that there is a direct correlation between pain and success. The world always has and always will reward the men who are able to go through, withstand, and come out the other side of pain. The men who are able to do hard shit. So that is point number 4. Maybe it was point number 5. To be honest with you, I've lost track. Who cares? Next up, we're talking about leverage. Because if you want to create a new, healthier lifestyle and drop that 10% body fat in the next 12 weeks, what you really need to do is create new habits, because your lifestyle is the sum of your habits, and the habits that you want to focus on are the ones that give you the most leverage. In other words, the ones that give you the most benefits from one action. Going to bed on time, giving up booze for an extended period, quitting smoking, reading every night, running around with your kids more often, cutting down your screen time. I don't need to explain the benefits of these habits. You know them intrinsically. You understand the amount of leverage that they give you, how life-changing they would be, especially if you stack them. Just imagine for 1 second if for the next 3 months you committed to giving up booze, deleting TikTok, and going to bed on time. Can you really tell me that in this 90 days time, your life would be completely different? No. You would be unrecognizable just from 3 changes. And this is the crazy thing. You don't need a lot of habits. You just need the right ones. But listen, I can't tell you the ones that are going to work best for you. You know your own life. You know what's going to make the biggest difference. And before you start adding on loads of new good habits, remember that you have to remove the bad to make room for the good. Everyone wants to add, but nobody wants to remove. Because removing is the hardest part, but it's just as powerful. Maybe even more powerful, to be honest. Next up, I've got a bit of an analogy for you. I'm not sure how it's going to go because I'll be honest with you, I'm not an expert on the subject. So feel free to comment below if you tell me I'm a complete idiot. But what I want you to do is to decide which tires you want to run on. So this is an F1 analogy. Now, my understanding is that there are lots of different tires that F1 cars run on. But I do know that you've got the super slicks and then you've got the hard or regular. Sorry, I don't know. But the point is, you can go on the super slicks and speed past everybody. But there's a higher chance that you're going to spin out and crash, and you're definitely going to have to pit more. And the challenge is, every time you pit, you're giving other people a chance to overtake you. Or you can go on the regular, the hard tires. Sure, you might be a little bit slower, but you're not going to have to pit nearly as much. Maybe you'll never have to pit. This is the classic story of the tortoise versus the hare. Listen, you can play the game of fat loss on multiple different difficulty modes. And what I will do is link a video where I've talked about this in a lot more detail up here. I can never remember which side it is, but one of these sides. Essentially, you've got easy, medium, hard, or superhero. The harder it gets, the higher the risk, but the greater the reward and the faster you get there. But the point is, you need to understand, you need to know that you don't have to play the game on just one mode. Some of my clients will actually say to me, this week I'm playing the game on hard mode, but for the next couple of weeks after that, I'm going to drop down to medium or easy. Essentially, easy mode is where you don't really have to make many changes. You're just being a bit more mindful and conscientious of your choices. When we move up to medium, to hard, to superhero, more sacrifices have to be made, but as a result, you get the results quicker. So you need to decide when you're going into this, what tires you're going to run on. As a result of that, it's going to give you the opportunity to set a realistic expectation for yourself. And that's important because it's going to stop you from being disappointed, because fat loss really is not a physical game. It's a mental game. Setting yourself realistic expectations is going to take the emotion out of the equation and allow you to look at this more logically and rationally. But alongside with that, my next point, regardless of the difficulty level that you want to play the game of fat loss on, what I do want you to do is to cheat on your diet every single day, because no one wants to be on a diet. By definition, they are restrictive, and that means they're boring and it means they're hard. This process right here, it's already hard. So why would you want to make it even harder? And that's why I want you to cheat on your diet every single day. Now, that doesn't mean having 10 pints on a Monday or a Domino's every Tuesday. It means finding something that you love and look forward to, can have every day, and fits into your calories. These are what I call cheat code snacks, and I'll put 9 of them on the screen right now. Let me be clear though, there are loads more. These are just the ones that I've come up with. In fact, if you have others, please do let me know in the comments, because I'm sure other people would love to hear them. And my go-to when I lost those 50 pounds in just 4 months that I told you about earlier was the Halo Top ice cream. I had half a tub, and sometimes even a full tub, every single day without fail. And honestly, it kept me sane. It made it feel like I was cheating on my diet. In fact, it made it feel like I wasn't on a diet at all. And that is exactly what I want for you. And then last but not least, I want you to find the others. If you're still watching this video, then congratulations. You're a weirdo. And trust me, that's something to celebrate, because who wants to be normal nowadays? Normal is obese, divorced, and broke. Normal is failing. Normal is weak. Normal is a loser. And the problem is, even if you don't want to be a loser, which I can tell you, you don't, you are still surrounded by them. They are absolutely everywhere these days. And as hard as you might resist, we always regress to the mean, because we are the sum of the people that we spend the most time with. We are a product of our environment. So the solution is to find the others. And this idea comes from a guy called Timothy Leary, whose quote I want to read to you quickly now. Admit it, you aren't like them. You're not even close. You may occasionally dress yourself up as one of them, watch the same mindless television shows as they do, maybe even eat the same fast food sometimes. But it seems that the more you try to fit in, the more you feel like an outsider. Watching the normal people as they go about their automatic existences, you often feel like there's something wrong with you. But don't worry, there's nothing wrong with you. You are more awake. You are alive. They are sleepwalking. Don't try to fit in. Embrace who you really are. Find what you love. Follow your own path. The heroes of our time were all misunderstood. And most importantly, find the others. You can do absolutely everything that I've taken you through today. But if you don't find the others, that tribe of men who are on the same path, the same mission as you, the ones who hold themselves to that higher standard, the ones who want the same things, then you are going to be swimming upstream. Finding those guys is not easy, but that is one of the biggest benefits that you are going to get when you join a coaching program, whether it's mine or somebody else's. You will get access to a community of like-minded guys who have the same drive, the same energy, the same motivation, and the same momentum and the same mission as you. And that gives you extra accountability, extra momentum, extra motivation, and most importantly, extra belief. 99.9% of people will watch this video and click away. And to them, I say, best of luck. But the brutal reality is that only about 1% of those guys will ever change. I want you to be part of the 0.1%, part of the group of men who come out of the other side of this winter a completely new man. This is when we separate the boys from the men and the winners from the losers. The little boys are going to celebrate Halloween and Christmas with the children and the women. They're going to procrastinate and wait until January to start. But the men, the winners, are going to start right now. So if you want to find out exactly how my coaching program works, why it works, you want to see the results that the other guys who've been through it have gotten, if you want to have a chat with me one-to-one, click the link below. Check it out. And if not, I really hope you enjoyed the video as much as I have enjoyed making it. I'll see you in the next one.